Hello, and thank you for watching TargetedWest.com. This is DJ Chris. It's show number 126, and it is the 18th of August. Today we're interviewing Lorraine from Alternative Homesteading. Lorraine, are you available? I guess Lorraine is not available yet. We'll have open mic, and you can talk amongst yourselves. We'll play a quick commercial, of course, while we wait from Targeted Justice. So this is exciting.
Attention targeted individuals. Don't miss the largest TI awareness event ever organized, the Targeted Action 2024 Rally in Colorado Springs, hosted by Targeted Justice. This incredible event starts on Wednesday, August 28th, and spans 2 days with an optional third day. On day 1, we have the Brotherly Love TI Meetup. The theme is Plan for Peace, a chance to connect, share, and envision a peaceful future together. Then on TI World Day, August 29th, the action begins. First, we'll distribute awareness flyers at key locations during the Targeted Action 2024 Morning Awareness event, followed by a powerful rally. In the afternoon, we'll unwind and strengthen our bonds at the Surviving and Thriving TI Cookout. Registration is just $25, a small price to pay to be part of this historic event. Show your support by purchasing exclusive Targeted Action 2024 merchandise. For more details and to sign up, visit the Targeted Action 2024 tab at targetedjustice.com or the TI Rallies section at tievents.org. We'll see you in Colorado for Targeted Action 2024.
Well, thank you, Mr. Announcer. Of course, it's 35 or 45 now. Lorraine, are you available for the interview? I guess not. It's open mic for show number 26. You can talk amongst yourselves. The book club today is a book on Ayurveda, which is an Indian holistic medicine that's used in cooking and medicine with herbs, and that'll be later on in the show. I can go look for some links, but I think you can do open mic and be fine. I trust you. So come on in, open mic. Who wants to speak? It's your show. Listening to someone doing their dishes. That's about right for the speed of the way the community is lately. I can get dishes for a call. Lorraine, are you available? It's open mic if anybody wants to talk. Anything but politics or religion. But we could use a little religion, of course, but it's up to you. I see we have Melody in the house from Targeted Justice. Very cool.
Chris, Lorraine says she's been on hold since a quarter till. Do you have her cell number? She asked me to give you her number.
She needs to hit *6. She's definitely here right now somewhere.
Yeah, well, I mean, she probably knows that she needs to hit *6. You want me to call her back? She was wondering why I called her, but we couldn't hear her respond when you were trying to get her to respond. So, but she's been on hold, and she said she didn't think you have her cell number. Let me email you her number so that I don't keep bothering her.
Well, unfortunately, I can't go into the email right now. because I'm on this
Oh.
platform. Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to
On
give her
hold,
number.
meaning, what does on hold mean exactly? She's on hold? She hasn't hit *6 yet? Is that what she means?
I don't know, but I know that she's been waiting. She's been on the call and waiting since 1:45. So she said on hold. I don't know what that means. To me, it means, I don't know what it means. That's a good question. But if you can't read your email, then I can't send you her number out because I don't want to give her number out on the call.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Could it be this person? Lorraine, is this you? Lorraine, can you hear me?
Hi there. I can hear you.
There you are. Is this Lorraine?
It is. It is.
Oh, hello. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you? I was waiting on the phone because I prefer to call on the phone while I'm getting my animals to sleep. And I just sat there for 15 minutes and as if I wasn't going to be connected to the call. So, and it could be the criminals, the perpetrators, because
it probably is. Yeah, they've affected your website, and they do things to me too. Well, I'm glad you're here now. That's all that matters. Lorraine is here with us, and we will switch to Q&A mode so we can have a discussion. So you are under Lorraine, I see. And, okay, Lorraine, I have you tuned in. We won't be interrupted. So, Lorraine, welcome to TargetedWest.com. I'm DJ Chris, and we're glad to have you. We've been here for 3 years. I'm like you. I don't go to many conferences anymore. I thought I'd try something different, have a work group style get-together, and it's worked out. So I'm glad you're coming in to be a part of this tonight.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for asking me. And I see a lot of familiar faces here.
Oh, there's a lot of familiar faces. I've known you for quite a long time. I just didn't say much on the calls back then, but I, too, rescue cats. So I have 2 cats right here on my sofa with me, and we run a rescue out of the RV park.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, we aren't official, but what we do is we work with a cat rescue that shows up on TV once a month and does the local news where they show the cats that are available for adoption. We've taken quite a few cats away. So we do that, but I admire you for that. That's a great thing for you to do. The cats really need us, and they're neglected now because of all the facts that people don't have money or jobs or any income to pay for them.
Well, that's partially true, but people do make a lot of excuses for abandoning their animals and not taking them with them. I mean, although there it absolutely is a financial crisis, but it doesn't take all that much to feed a couple of cats. So.
I agree. Cats are pretty easy to take care of. I have about 12 right now, believe it or not, and most of them have been neutered and spayed. So. I just have, actually, all my cats have been neutered and spayed, but there's new ones coming around.
Well, we have a lot of cat lovers and cat rescuers in our community. A lot of people don't talk about it, because, of course, other people will say, oh, well, that's like another crazy cat lady or another crazy cat person, the slander campaign. Meanwhile, they don't say that about the large rescue groups that rescue animals. But for a targeted person, they'll utilize that as a defamation campaign.
Right. And originally I had dogs that I rescued, Dalmatians, and I switched to cats after my last Dalmatian passed on. And the cats just showed up at the right time.
Well, good for you. The animals thank you. Because, people can be very cruel. I watch so many videos, animal rescue and stuff, and some of what I see is just horrific, what people do to animals. And it just seems to be getting worse. Look at what they do to us as humans. They torture us, and then they do
torture us. Yeah, well, These are dark triad personalities, sociopaths that hurt animals when they're children, so they switch to people.
Exactly, that's exactly right.
But they also get the animals still, and I'm sure they're abusive to animals in the background.
Well, they do, and unfortunately, this week my 10-year-old cat Amber passed away. I knew that it was going to happen, and they schedule it on particular dates. They use dates because they can prolong the life or take it away. And they've been slowly taking away her life over the last year and a half. And, it's just a horrible thing to watch. But, animals are so funny. Like, it's almost like she knew that she was going to pass because she, the day before, she wanted to go outside. Now, she's an indoor cat. And she was following me around and being very cuddly and all this energy and stuff. And then the next day, she curled up into a little ball, didn't come for breakfast, and then she passed later that day. But since I've moved to Kentucky, these criminals have stolen, poisoned, kicked my animals, experimented on them, tortured them. Just horrible things. It's beyond.
My goodness. I remember when you bought that farm and moved, because you were in New Jersey before, and they were messing up your floors, your plants outside, your cats, everything.
Well, you have a very good memory. I mean, thank you so much for remembering that. In New Jersey, it was pretty bad, too, because, yes, they were absolutely doing those things to my hardwood floors, my carpets, and the plants outside, and they were spreading a slander campaign, literally, that I was a skinny little whore. They were throwing pussy willows in my backyard, puncturing holes in my trees, taking sticks and putting, a stick in like it's a penis and a vagina. They actually burned a vagina in one of my trees. I mean, these people are disgusting. They were spreading.
Yeah, they do. They like the sex and death theme for some reason.
No, they're just sick, depraved people. They were spreading I finally figured what it was, a monarch butterfly wings. And you wonder why they torture these butterflies, too, spreading monarch butterfly wings all over my yard. So, I finally realized that after them burning the letter M in a tree and then some other places, that they stuck me in some MK Ultra program. 2.0.
I remember that. Yeah, they were putting actual symbols, symbology was used in your targeting, as you mentioned.
Absolutely. And years ago, Meg's B, she's not on YouTube anymore. She got married, had a baby. She interviewed me 3 times. And she grabbed some of the images that I had posted online about this satanic stuff. It's witchcraft. And basically, a lot of people like poo-pooing it, like, oh, well, we don't believe in witchcraft. It doesn't matter what you believe. It still exists. It's been existing for decades and centuries and stuff. And they utilize it against me, both in New Jersey and here. And there are a lot of groups that engage in that. I won't mention them here, but you probably all know who they are. Because it's the letter F, and it's with the letter N.
Oh, we say Freemasonry. Yeah, my dad was a Freemason, and he made our lives a living hell, so I'm quite familiar with them.
Yes, the Freemasons have done that to me in New Jersey and here. There are actually 3. Hi, Huggy Bear. Hi, good to see you here. There are 3 Mason lodges in my tiny little town of less than 800 people. So they're all involved, and they leave their symbols everywhere. They've actually burned Illuminati eyes in the side of my buildings and inside my new house when I moved here. My little cabin, was 1-bedroom cabin, is built by the Amish, and it has pine board walls. And when I moved in, they had already burned, I call them Illuminati, the all-seeing eye, all over the place. It's like the symbolism was like, oh, well, we're watching you. Well, I'm watching you, too.
You're watching them, too. Yeah, my B2K says they're the Illuminati, and I believe it.
Yes, well, they think that they are. But, see, the real Illuminati are these high-level, wealthy billionaire people. And these billionaire people probably dole out and hire these Freemasons and these sick supremacist groups to do their dirty work for them. And for them, they're laughing and giggling. They're psychopaths. Some of them probably don't even get paid, and they do it just because they enjoy it. While others, well, like my local neighbors, they probably get paid in vehicles and gift cards and all kinds of other things. It's just insanity. Hi, Tranquility. I apologize for not mentioning everybody's names. Like, I'm kind of scanning here. Thank you so much again, Chris, for inviting me.
You're welcome. Yeah, we've known each other for a long time. I just never really said much.
Yes, and I loved what you wrote in how you describe your group, that you're a bunch of older people that like to read books.
Pretty much, it is. It's true. The average age of the people in my call are over 50 usually.
Yes. Well, yeah. I'm now I'm over 60. Like, I'm like literally a senior citizen. I was able to this year finally get like a tax, not a rebate, like in Kentucky, or at least where I live. If you own 10 acres or more and are 65 and older, you have your property taxes exonerated. So I was like doing a little happy dance. So I don't have to pay property taxes anymore. Not that they were anything to talk about. They were under $1,000. In New Jersey, I was paying $10,000 in property taxes.
That is wild. Yeah, I know the house I sold in Santa Clara is worth 1.6 now. It wasn't worth that much when I owned it, in the property tax every year is something like $22,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, for a crappy little 2-bedroom house in Santa Clara in Silicon Valley.
Wow. So are you in California now?
I am. I'm born and raised here. My grandmother was born in San Jose in 1899. And I wrote a book about my grandmother, which is available on Amazon. So, yeah, I've been here and my family's here, too. And I also got targeted here in Santa Clara at that house in 2002. So I've been receiving telepathy since then.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, it's a long time.
22 years is a lot.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Oh, but you're still under investigation. And, of course, if you FOIA request anyone, they can't give you any information in the name of national security,
Isn't that funny? Yeah, that's their go-to catchphrase, yes. National security reasons.
Yes. Meanwhile, there's a lot going on in the world today. And so somebody's not doing a very good job with the national security issue.
No, they're not. They're using it to squash free speech and our ability to communicate with each other, openly.
Yes, and it's not just targeted us. It's not just our group. I've come to realize, and I watch a lot of YouTube creators who are in the farming and the homesteading community. And, when you're a targeted person, you have a trained eye. Your eye is trained to see things that a non-targeted person or a person that is unaware that they're being targeted doesn't see. And I've been seeing for years a couple of YouTube creators that I knew that they were targeted. Well, one of them finally came out last week and created a video about what had been happening to her. And it's like, bang. So we've been communicating with each other. I gave her some resources and stuff, and then she gave me a resource too. There's actually a gossip site where they gossip. It's called the Gossip Bakery. It's an online forum where these perps, the cyberstalkers, get together and create nonsense about targeted people. And this woman, Tessie, I'll just say her name, Homestead Tessie, she's actually a Mennonite. Can you imagine you're targeting a Mennonite? And she lives in a mobile home.
That's wild. That is wild.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable. But they have been targeting her for years, and I've known this. And I've even mentioned it like underneath her comment section. I figured this woman's going to hate me, you know. But finally, she created a video last week about it, and I was like, yay! You know, not that anybody wants to be right about these things, but I'm so glad that she's aware, that she's talking about it, she's speaking out about it, and she's not the only one. There are a lot of farmers and homesteaders out there that are targeted.
Well, they're targeted because they're doing the alternative lifestyle that the big brother and government doesn't like. They want you in stack and pack buildings with a lot of frequencies in the air and cameras on you.
Yes, that's exactly right. And well, I just want to apologize too that my camera's not on. I don't think you see me, right? I'm a hot mess. You know, I've worked on a farm all day long. I've got no makeup on. My hair's pulled back, so I've got a little cover on it. Hopefully.
No worries. No worries. We can, as long as we can hear you loud and clear, it's all good, and we're here. So you are. How long have you had your YouTube channel now?
Well, you know, I've had a YouTube channel under this name for about 2.5 years, but I set it up many years ago. It was called ADHD Alternatives. I started the YouTube channel thinking that I was going to make something big of it after I received my master's degree. And my thesis topic capstone was medicating children diagnosed with ADHD and the alternatives. So I created a Twitter account, a YouTube channel, and then when I moved to Kentucky, I guess maybe after 2 years of being here, I started doing little TikToks of my farm, of the things that I grew, of my chickens and stuff, because I really didn't know how to do it. I didn't know anything about YouTube, even though I created, you know, the channel. And so then I started uploading my TikToks to the ADHD Alternatives YouTube channel. And then I figured out how I can change the name. So I changed it to Alternative Homesteading, get rid of the ADHD, because I wasn't focusing on that anymore. And in addition to doing the little TikToks and opening that, I started recording things around my property and realized that I can just upload them from my phone. And that's what I started to do. So it's probably about 2.5 years.
Well, I saw your channel. It's really well done, and you've got a lot of followers. Well, congratulations on your master's. So you're also a psychologist, of course, and you end up in a farm, of course. So that's how life ends up sometimes.
Oh, it's just crazy because in New Jersey, you know, I was a divorced single mom. And so I returned to school at the same time that my daughter was in university. We actually graduated at the same time. So she graduated university there at the same time that I received my master's. So it coincided, and I was going to go into the PhD program. And these criminals made sure that I didn't do that. I was actually moving credits in there. I had signed up. I started applying for things, and they actually inserted a tick into my left ear in the month of January. I became deathly ill. Literally for about 2 years of my life, I was a shell of me. At first, I was just like crawling up and down my stairs. And I realized that they had infected me with a tick because I was an extremely healthy person, eating out.
Did they give you Lyme disease?
They gave me Lyme disease, yes.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh, yeah, and they gave it to my daughter, too, at the same time. What a coincidence.
That's an incredible coincidence. How is that even possible?
How is that even possible? Yes, and my daughter wasn't even living with me at the time. So
That's even, wow.
Yeah, wow, yes. Well, she would come home. Like, for the first 2 years, she wasn't allowed to have her vehicle there, so I would have to drive back and forth and stuff. And during that time, they stole my first pair of reading sunglasses and stuff that cost me a lot of money. They stole my glasses. They did that here in Kentucky. They stole all of my reading, long-distance glasses, sunglasses, and stuff. But so they probably did something during the time that I would bring my daughter home for a weekend because they poisoned her cats. They suffocated her chinchilla. They strangled my canary. And yes, in a house full of cats, I had a canary for 8 years. But these are the horrible things. They tore the eyes out of one of my cats and left her out on Christmas Day. Oh, the list is endless.
That's sick. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry you went through that.
I mean, the people that are on me are really on me. Like, talk about MK Ultra, the trauma-based mind control is off the charts.
Oh, so yeah. I believe it's MK Ultra 2.0 or MK Tech now. Yeah, it's advanced. They never went away. They just hid for a while.
The COINTELPRO and stuff like that. And honestly, back then, I had no idea what any of this stuff was. I didn't vote. I didn't watch TV. I worked out at a gym. I had my daughter. I had multiple businesses going on. Still going through a divorce after 3.5 years. I'm absolutely convinced that some of those lawyers were involved in getting me into the program, in addition to a bunch of other people, the feral cat cartel and stuff. Because everybody thinks that cat rescue people, like these nonprofit groups, are all benefic, but they're not. Let me tell you, a lot of them are in it just for the money, and some of them do horrible things with animals, especially the big ones. The big ones aren't rescuing cats anymore. They're just pretending that they do for the public to donate money to them. But yeah, so this happened in New Jersey, and of course I didn't know what was going on, cognitive dissonance, and I had to back out of the PhD program. I was devastated because I was on a roll. I got 3 hypnosis certifications. I became a Reiki master teacher, got my master's degree, all like at approximately the same time. And for anybody who's been in school as an academic, you know that once you get on a roll, you just keep going. That's how you get a doctorate, You just don't stop. And they forced me to stop. It was just, it was really disgusting.
Yeah, I went through that when I went back to school in 2003. They wouldn't leave me alone with the voices, and I had to play a radio on my desk that I studied on, and I got through it with a really good teacher.
It's horrible. I mean, I will say that I don't get the hearing voices. What they do to me from, there's a targeted gentleman in the community who has a news list, Max Williams, who's just wonderful. He actually says that what I get and what other people that don't actually hear the voices, that the subliminals are worse than actually hearing the voices. I don't know. But all I know is that 24/7, I have the loudest tinnitus since I moved to Kentucky. And
that's remote neural monitoring in effect, believe it or not. So you are being monitored through your brain.
Oh, absolutely. They know where everything is in my house. I can hide something, and it will disappear.
Oh, they see through your eyes and they hear through your ears. Of course they can.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And it's so invasive. And before all of this, I have to tell you, I was an extremely private person. I didn't share a lot of information with people. I kept to myself. I was a quiet person. I had a lot of friends and, belonged to a lot of organizations and stuff. I was a professional astrologer, so I had clients, pretty much all over the world. I had my own staffing business, clients all over the world. And then going through a horrific divorce with psychotic lawyers that stole all of my money. And literally, they're criminals. It was absolutely despicable. And then moving to Kentucky, I thought, and even my friends thought, that at least my targeting would be less. They were so happy for me, thinking, oh, you're going to a rural area. Your neighbors are going to be so far away from you, because I've got 64 acres of land. Like, that's enough of a buffer to not have neighbor harassment, right? Wrong. Everybody went out of their way in the small community to torment me from the day I moved here, letting their dogs loose on my property, shooting firearms. I have IEDs thrown on my driveway, explosives. And for anybody out there that thinks the FBI is on our side, I've reported I've reported to the FBI in New Jersey. They hung up on me. My mother called them. They gave her the runaround. Here in Kentucky, I've probably called them a half a dozen times. I filed 2 online complaints. No one's ever got back to me. I filed a 61 page complaint against the Manalapan Police Department with the Attorney General Criminal Division in New Jersey. They gave me a whole runaround. What they did is, I'll tell you what they did, which is kind of hilarious. They took my complaint and they sent it to the Monmouth County prosecutor. Now, I had already been there. So the prosecutor then sends it to the sheriff's department. I had already been to the sheriff's department. What does the sheriff's department do? They sent it back to the accusers, the Manalapan Police Department. And the Manalapan Police Department performed their own internal investigation and decided that my claim was unfounded.
I remember, and I remember when they also decided to send you off to a certain place, and then you ended up getting bills afterwards.
Oh, yes. What happened was, first, they installed these criminal perpetrator, provocateur neighbors. So one lived next to me. His name is Steve. Steve and Vicky. They lived next door to me for a year. A year to the date, they moved across the street and bought the exact same house, but still tormenting me, tracking me. Even my mother noticed all this stuff. Then they move in. What do I call them? I call them the Russian spies. I don't think they're Russian, but they're from another country. And this little blondie woman would follow me around my backyard, stalking me with her child in her hands. Her kids would be screaming all day long. And then what she decided to do was, after she destroyed part of my lawn with her landscaper, and I complained to her about it, asked her, if she wanted me to repair it and I could bill her, or if she wanted to pay for it directly, they sent me a nasty one-line letter, which they actually stole from my desk. They didn't want me to have that as evidence, evidently, but they were so foolish because I already scanned it into my computer, and it's actually on my channel right now. A lot of those videos are on my channel. All you have to do is type in Manalapan or Manalapan. Yeah, just type in Manalapan in the search engine. I've got a whole playlist on the Manalapan Police Department, the criminals there. So, so what they did is they set up this provocateur to literally report me to the police. She called the police on me. I was at the end of my driveway talking to my painter, who I find out is a perp and involved in all this. And I start walking back up to my front door. I get there, and this biatch walks out of her front door. She walks out of her door, and she says to me, "What are you looking at?" And so I turn to her. I know. And at this time, I'm not realizing that she's a provocateur. I don't even know what it is, So I said, "Well, you've ruined my grass or whatever. You sent me that letter. You know what I'm looking at." She says, "Well, do you have anything else you'd like to say to me before I call the police?" So I said, "Absolutely nothing." Go into my house, go to find the letter that I wrote, get a copy of the letter that I wrote to her, the damage that she did. I got my digital recorder, put in a new battery, I tested it, test recording, had it in my hand. She calls the cops, right? They show up at my front door, 2 of them. Now, I have porch cameras. The cop says to me, "Is that a digital recorder?" I said, "Yes." "Oh, I'm entitled to record the conversation." Well, evidently he didn't think I was entitled to record the conversation, didn't want it recorded. I find out when I get back into my house, he not only killed the battery, but destroyed even my test recording and anything that I recorded. My porch camera was wiped clean of that entire incident. So this is what she says to the cops. And the only reason I know this is because I received the incident report through a FOIA request. The cops, I tell them exactly what happens. I give them my evidence. They go back, create the report. Through FOIA, I get this report that says that I cursed at her from my driveway with her infant son in the car, that I harassed her, was the whole story made up. They did not include anything that I said, none of my evidence. And you know what they wrote for the cause? You know, they usually have at the top. They said that I was a terror threat and displayed disorderly conduct. 2018, I have it in writing that the effing Manalapan cops, the chief of police then was Michael Fountain, who's gone, and it was Lieutenant Thomas Mansell, who's now promoted to a captain. That piece of crap, I sent him a letter. I said, could you please explain to me what this terror threat means? I said, in this disorderly conduct. I said, this is what really happened. They never addressed what really happened. They never addressed the fact that they destroyed the recording, which is against the law. I'm entitled to record the police. And I'm entitled to videotape them with my cameras. And they wiped them both clean. And plus, they all wear body cams. Every one of those cops wears a body cam. Every time I've FOIA requested their body cam, I never get a result. I never get one. Just the way they did when they Baker Acted me, just a few months later, because I filed allegedly too many incident reports for vandalism, which were accurate, but they never accurately portrayed anything that happened in my house because they were involved. And when I FOIA requested the reports, there was never anything written that was accurate. They said that I appeared to be paranoid, that they have to always mention that she lives alone. Like, what does that have to do with anything? I lived alone for decades. So what? What do you, they're jealous? They wanted my house. And a cop purchased my house. Cop purchased my house. And you know he's a perp. Want to know why? You want to know how I know? So anyway, the Russian spies next door, and I think they're from Kazakhstan or whatever. I don't know what they are. I have their names that I can't even pronounce. But they would have a DJ truck parked in front of their house. I have a feeling that DJ truck had equipment in it that was targeting me, recording me, targeting me. So when I move away, one of my cats gets stuck in the cabinet, and I have to trap him. And I hired a trapper, and this cop was giving my trapper a hard time. We were going to charge him with animal abuse if he didn't allow us to trap my cat. So fortunately, the cat was trapped and stuff. But during the time that it took to trap the cat, it was several days. It took a long time, actually. I would speak to this trapper, and I'd say, well, could you see any of my other cats? I had a couple of other cats that got loose. He says, no, the only thing I'm seeing there is a DJ truck on the driveway. I said, what do you mean? I said, you mean my driveway, like my former driveway, or the next door house driveway? He said, no, your driveway. There's a DJ truck. I said, you're kidding me. So there you go. Cop perp.
They're probably erasing your cameras and stuff from there or something. That's weird.
Yeah.
Well, I can assure you, as a retired DJ, I don't have any of that capability. I just play records.
Yeah.
But that's really an interesting story. And you've talked about this on your channel, of course, and shared it. And you've got a big audience. So this is very compelling. I've heard it before also myself about New Jersey. So what animals do you have on your farm besides cats, may I ask?
Yes. Well, of course, the criminals always drop stray dogs and cats. They actually dropped a stray kitten. So I've got a new kitten that I named Vesta, which means home. So she's a cute little black kitten. She's probably about 3 months old. But I have chickens, which are hens and roosters, and I have guinea fowl. Guineas are very interesting water birds. They're like a fowl. They're wild and crazy. I call them teenagers, like they're really bad teenagers because they are the last to go into the coop at night. And they're very unusual looking. They have like a little horn on top, and they're the cutest birds as babies. Like I actually have babies now. They lay a lot of eggs, tons of eggs with like a little point on them. And they're crazy birds. They flock together, and they will surround a stranger. So they have alerted me to strangers on the property, and they also eat ticks. That's their bug of choice is a tick. So they love ticks. They're a watch bird, so they flock together and will watch. They will circle. I had the sheriff here with his deputy about a year or so ago, and my guineas were kind of new, and they circled the sheriff and the deputy and were cackling, like making so much noise. That's why they finally left.
Well, you have your own security. I have that with the cats. They alert me when someone's nearby because they're so mellow, and if someone's got energy that's negative, they can pick it up and they'll tell me.
Yes, well, you know, I have to tell you the unfortunate thing is that some of my feistier cats that would do that, these criminals have harmed every one of the really feisty cats because these criminals were going into their building at night, and the feisty cats thought it was me, or they were going to be let out. So some of them would attempt to run out, and those are the cats that they harmed and killed.
That's terrible. Well, here's one of my, I don't know if you're watching the screen, but here's one of my kitties. This is Sammy. Look like your black kitty. She is so pretty. Beautiful cat. That's Sammy. We saved her. She was almost dead, and she had some kittens we had adopted, and now she's fixed.
Good. Yeah, I mean, all of my cats except the ones they've dumped here, they're all spayed and neutered. I had them all done before I moved here. I socialized all of the feral cats to live in my house. I wasn't going to leave them there. So I started trapping them along with the help of a couple of trappers and the local health department, you know, animal control officer and stuff. So she knew that I had a cat colony there. I had the only registered feral cat colony likely in the state of New Jersey, certainly in Monmouth County. So what that meant was that all of the cats were spayed and neutered and vaccinated. At the time, they were microchipped. I'm not doing that anymore because I feel that that's the way that these criminals can harm them as well. And having
I agree.
Yes, I feel very saddened that I ever did that. And I've learned that it actually doesn't prevent them from, it doesn't actually help them being found, because very nefarious people that want your pets, they'll inject them with another microchip and register that one. So there have been cats that are rescued where there's more than one microchip.
Oh my goodness, I've never heard that before. That's crazy.
Yes, it's very crazy, and also it's a foreign object that can be manipulated. And I believe that they've been doing that with some of my cats that had microchips. Not all of them do, because I stopped doing that. Yeah, so what this, when they Baker acted me, it was only for 6 hours. It wasn't some kind of a psych hold.
I remember the doctor said, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah, the doctor was like, "Why are you here?" I said, "Well, because the Manalapan Police Department are retaliating against me for blowing the whistle on them and for filing police reports that they're not paying attention to." I said, "So I don't have medical insurance, so I'm not going to pay for anything." I told them flat out, "I have no medical insurance. I'm not going to pay for this." I called my mother. I said she's going to be on her way to pick me up. And actually, while they were in the process of Baker acting me, They literally broke into my house with a woman named Tina Booth from Monmouth PESS. She's still there, but she was newly hired at the time. And she, while I'm in my living room, she's like writing it down. And she says, well, you have to come with us. I said, for what reason? She says, well, because, we feel that you have this and that. I said, really? I said, by which criteria did you utilize to come up with that diagnosis? No comments. She had no badge on, no form of identification. These criminals, this biatch, broke into my house, held onto the door handle, and broke in with no identification. She should have been arrested and charged with illegal. She broke into my house. And the police officer who was with her did absolutely nothing but follow her. And he was wearing a body cam. I FOIA requested that body cam, never got it. So, yeah, so
that's
what's
crazy. That's just wild.
It was so wild that when they showed up, it was under the guise of bringing me a property loss statement. So earlier in the morning, Lieutenant Thomas Mansell, narcissist extraordinaire, psychopath. Yeah, I'm going to say it out loud. The captain now. You can target me all you want, you piece of crap. I hope you go to prison one day. You're going to get yours. Karma's coming for you. But anyway, so he calls me on the phone. A recorded line, by the way. He calls me on the phone and says, we'd like to drop off a property loss statement. I said, well, you've never given me one before. He said, oh, yes, we have. I said, no, you haven't, because I would have had copies of it. So I'm waiting and waiting. I decide I've got to run errands. I go to the post office. I run my errands. They show up at 3 o'clock, all carefully orchestrated. I didn't know this because my upstairs hardwire cameras that they didn't wipe clean were recording everything that was going on my block in the neighborhood, including their little psyop here. So we had Tina Booth and her sideshow with their cars parked there. They had the EMS truck down the block parked there. Sergeant Carey is holding on to his weapon as if he's going to pull it out while pacing on my driveway. Anthony Casella, cop, is talking to my mother on the phone. My mother's talking to him. My mother's trying to charm him or whatever. And then on my other phone, I called an alleged targeted person, and I'm just going to say it out loud for anybody who remembers Connie Robinson in Connecticut, the hot sauce girl. Well, she recorded...
Oh, we remember hot sauce, yeah.
Yeah, hot sauce. Well, she disappeared after she recorded everything inside my house and refused to give me the recording. She was on a recorded line. She was yelling at Tina Booth. She was yelling at the officers to get out of my house, reading all these things to them and stuff. And I thought she was a proponent because I was a proponent for her when she had some unruly guy harassing her. I helped her with that. So she recorded it on a digital recorder. At first she said, I can't figure out how to get it off this recorder. She ended up playing it for all of her friends that were horrified. And I was horrified that she even played it for anybody and didn't play it back for me. I offered to have a friend go, who actually works sometimes in Connecticut, to go and retrieve it. And she gave me a song and a dance. And then months go by. I sell my house. Before I'm ready to leave, I call her on the phone. She says, don't you ever call me again. She was angry with me for even calling. Yes, and believe it or not, if anybody wants to hear it, I've got it recorded. I've got the Connie Robinson recording. Yes, I do, if you want to hear it. I have a lot of other recordings, too, that we won't go there.
We can play those at a different time. Would you like to come back a second time?
If you invite me, sure.
Absolutely, yes. You're more than welcome to come back, but we need to switch to Q&A session right now to see what people have to ask you about your work. So let's go and switch now, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Hi, if you'd like to ask Lorraine from Alternative Homesteading a question, please do so now. *6, come on in.
Hey, Lorraine.
Hi there.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
That's always a loaded question for a targeted person. I'm sorry. It's
Well,
a habit saying
you know how it is. I'm good as can be, so I'll lie. I'm wonderful.
Yeah, right. Is there a way to contact you? I actually live in New Jersey, Lorraine, and I left I thought I had your phone number. In fact, I live not so far from where you were living, and I had left a couple of messages for you. I think on a phone number, on a legit phone number, I think, and it was your voice. It sounded like your voice in terms of your recorded message, and I just never heard back from you. And so is there a different way of contacting you, or do you prefer not to be contacted? Or
okay, let's first say that I've been in the community a very long time, and I know a lot of people a long time, and those long-term people have my phone number. For anybody that I don't really know, I ask them to email me first.
Would you like to give her your email so she can contact you if that's okay?
Yes, it's alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. I do have a targeted email, but unfortunately, Google is telling me that I'm out of space. I've got very little space left, so I have to create a Proton mail. And Huggy Bear, yes, I know. I've got to create a Proton mail email, but unfortunately, my YouTube channel and everything else is on Gmail, and to convert it all is extremely time-consuming. I know I have to do it. But yes, so alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. I also have one only if you live in Kentucky. Only Kentucky. It's called TargetedKentucky@gmail.com. If you don't live in Kentucky, do not email me there. It's only for Kentucky. So, but in New Jersey, I lived in Manalapan for 30 years. There are a lot of targeted people in New Jersey.
Well, there's a growing group of us, and many of us are in contact with each other, and we're a nice group, and we don't get together socially, but we're aware of each other and support each other. But so I just have a question for you, Lorraine, just regarding animals.
What is your name?
So, Deborah.
Deborah, hi.
Hi. So I lost my my dog a couple months ago from targeting, and I'd love to get another animal, but I am so reluctant to do that because it was so hard to see my dog suffer, and everything from losing eyesight to broken back to, it goes on. But I'd love to help my little dog. She was a rescue. And so I'd love to get another dog, but then I think I should not get another dog or another animal. So I see that you have, of course, many animals. So I'm just wondering how you do that, and being a targeted person, is there something that you do that can help other people with their animals, or?
Well, I'll say something. There are a lot of people who have animals and their animals are not targeted. Okay, this just happens in my program because I have a cat rescue, because I love animals. So they've done horrible things to my animals, but they don't do it all to all of them all at the same time. Like I've got, cats that are the one that they unalived recently was 10 years old. I've got other cats right now that are 10 years old. And the way I look at it is the animal shelters are filled with animals that need homes. If you can give an animal a home, you will infinitely improve their life so much better than them living on the street, living outside, or being in a shelter. In a shelter, they're so traumatized. It is way worse than being targeted at somebody's home who loves them, who's feeding them, who gives them a bed. I would highly recommend, if you want an animal, to get one. I know other targeted people, who's had their animals stolen or killed, and they get new animals, and it's not happening to their new animals. So I would highly recommend, and the economy is really bad. If you can afford to get a pet, adopt a shelter animal. There's so many of them.
That's the only way I would go is to adopt a shelter animal. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, anyway, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Deborah. Next question for Lorraine, please, as we switch to the book club mode.
Can you hear me?
I hear you. Come on in.
I might get cut off, so I might not get my question answered, but if I don't, I'll email Lorraine and get it that way. How did you said they gave you Lyme disease. How did you, I assume you cured that way back when, what did you do for that?
Okay, I'll tell you. First of all, I knew that I had Lyme, but it was extremely difficult to get the actual diagnosis. My regular doctor didn't give it to me. The Western blot tests and the ELISA tests, they have to be done at certain times. They are set up to be false negative. The CDC changed the protocol from you used to be able to get 6 to 8 weeks of doxycycline. They changed it to 3 weeks. I ended up going to a lab in California. It's called IGENX, IGENX. They're not lab techs. They are all scientists. Scientists are analyzing your blood. So I had my local doctor draw the blood. We set it up. We sent it to California. They did they examined my blood there, and they came back with a huge report. And I had all these markers. They give you certain markers of what you have. And at the time, I actually spoke to a research doctor on the phone. This is how good they are, but it's expensive. It cost me like $1,000. And he gave me where my markers were. He told me I was in late stage Lyme, and because of my age at the time, I was in my late 50s. He gave me a very strict protocol with doxycycline. He says you need it for 3 months. I said, well, where am I going to get it for 3 months? Like, you don't want to give it to me for more than 3 weeks.
Can you repeat the name of the lab again for Nancy in the chat room?
It's
the one in California. IGENX. You could always email me. I will recommend them forever. I absolutely love them. They have other tests too for Borrelia and for all kinds of tick diseases, all kinds of parasites. Excellent, excellent, excellent. They are scientists. They're not just your regular lab techs. So it was worth every penny. And they give you a report and they show you where your markers are. So yes, I highly recommend them. So, but then after the doxycycline, I went onto YouTube and I combed YouTube for every person that had Lyme. I sat literally day after day listening to what they did naturally. Okay, naturally they all did a parasite cleanse. So they used olive leaf extract, black walnut hull extract, cat's claw, and parasite cleanse, which usually has black walnut hull extract, cloves with garlic, and cilantro. Cilantro is another thing really important. What was the other thing? Wormwood. I don't know. One of them is escaping me right now. But you can buy the mixture on eBay. So I purchased the parasite cleanse mixture on eBay. And then I purchased separately the cat's claw and the olive leaf extract. And I was extremely stringent about this protocol. I did exactly what they told me to do. I ended up losing. Now, I'm a small woman. Like at the time I weighed like 108 pounds. I lost 10 pounds on this parasite cleanse.
because there was probably other junk in my body too. And I ate organic food. I'm sorry about that. I have to set all these alarms off because these criminals put me to sleep.
No worries. We're going to go ahead and conclude the Q&A session. Unless someone has a question, they can wait till after the book club meeting, and we can go ahead and answer them. But if you don't mind, Lorraine, let's go ahead and I'll switch to the book club. I really appreciate the interview. I'd like to have you back again. If you could please hang around for a few more minutes, I'm sure people are going to ask you more questions.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
No worries.
It's time for the TI Book Club, where every book opens a door to new worlds and shared journeys. Here, we uncover hidden gems, specially selected for TIs, and always within your reach. Be part of a community that reads together, grows together, and sees the world through the same lens. Don't just listen to stories, live them with us. Join now at bookclubs.com/TIBookClub/join, and let's turn the pages of adventure together.
Well, thank you, Mr. Interviewer. Today's book is Ayurveda, which is an Indian medicine and also food. It's The Beginner's Guide by Susan Weiss, Bohlen, B-O-H-L-E-N. I'm reading it right now. I've adhered to traditional Chinese medicine and medicine from Ayurveda, and I have lost weight and improved my health overall, all the way down to little details I can't go into, but it's definitely worth it. That's the book club entry for this week. If you want to join the book club, it's bookclubs.com/TIBookClub/join. I think we've got Tranquility up next for her session. She's going to put a quick video out for us. So we'll do that up next. And if you want to join the book club, you have the link. You can also go to TargetedWest.com and click on the book club to join that way. We have about 143 books in the book club right now that we have either purchased or read. We have books that are PDFs that you can get for free. You don't have to buy a book. You just go at your own pace. It's not a requirement to read a certain book. It's freestyle, so you do it on your own, at your own pace. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what's going on with Tranquility. Tranquility, are you ready?
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another exciting edition of the Week in TI Events. There's a fantastic lineup of events ahead, so let's dive in. Tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern, right after the Targeted West Show, tune in to Laura Ann's Voice to Heart conference call. The discussion will focus on the upcoming Colorado rally, so don't miss out on this important conversation. Starting off the week on Monday, the Victory Group B2K conference call hosted by Melody of Targeted Justice will feature special guest Mary Smith, a licensed clinical social worker. Mary will share essential insights on mental health, offering expert advice for TIs and their families. Later in the week, on Friday, the I Shall Bloom Show, hosted by Sandra Williams, will feature special guest Scott Cranmer. He'll be exploring crime victims' compensation, making this an insightful session not to be missed. Looking ahead to next Sunday, the Targeted West Show will feature fellow TI and life coach Michelle G., sharing powerful strategies for resilience and empowerment. This is an essential event for anyone looking to strengthen their journey. Now, turning to major upcoming events. Starting tomorrow, the Havana Syndrome Task Force Rally and Conference begins in Chicago during the 2024 Democratic National Convention. Running from August 19th to 22nd, this is a pivotal event for the TI community. If unable to attend in person, the event will be available via live stream. It's not too late to join. Visit TIEvents.org for the itinerary, registration details, and live stream information. And the momentum continues. In just 10 days, the highly anticipated Targeted Action 2024 rally in Colorado Springs, hosted by Targeted Justice, will take place from August 28th to 30th. With over 200 attendees expected, this will be the largest TI awareness event to date. Register now and check the register board at tievents.org to coordinate your travel. Before wrapping up, here are 2 recommended readings. TI Meetup Mastery, a complete guide by yours truly, ideal for starting a TI support group, and the Targeted Trilogy Collection by DJ Chris, which offers 3 insightful books in one. Both are available on Amazon.com. Lastly, if anyone is looking for a place to live, a fellow TI is offering a bedroom for rent in their home. For more information, contact Sandy Williams at 210-986-9881 or by email at sandra@ishallbloom.com. Stay connected by subscribing to DJ Chris's Substack at substack.com/@TargetedWest and by following him on Twitter at TI Club 3 for the latest updates. Remember, to find more details on all of these events, visit tievents.org. And while you're there, sign up for email updates so you never miss a beat. Until next time, this is Tranquility signing off and sending you all waves of positivity. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Thank you, Tranquility. That was wonderfully done. We're going to end the recording now, so if you're watching your favorite platform, please click like, subscribe, and comment below if you would like to be interviewed on the show. Contact me at djchris@targetedwest.com. Thank you. We're going to end the recording now and go ahead and switch to open mic mode. Lorraine is still here, so she'll be able to answer more questions for you if you'd like.